What's up, guys? It's Scoopman 5000 back for another action figure review, and you'll never guess what we got today. It's reuse. I'm of course talking about the Dark Knight Trilogy Gold Label bundle from the McFarlane Toys Store. That includes Sonar Vision the Joker, Trench Coat BANE, and Bank Robber Joker. Now, what we're looking at here is one very, very exciting figure and two not so much, but you had to get them in a bundle. That's how they got you. But we'll get into all that. Here's the packaging for these figures. All the same stuff. Let's get into it.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Let's kick it off with the strangest figure of the bunch, the Sonar Vision Joker. And for accessories, it's nothing. You get the trading card, you get the base. I feel like that doesn't count. There's nothing that comes with the Joker, no money stack, and this guy never came with any knives or guns or anything like that. Maybe even a dog, you know, if he had one of those Rottweilers. That would be cool, nonetheless. Is it fair to say we've jumped the shark with repaint? I guess to play devil's advocate, this is a real thing in the movie. Like, you see the Joker in the Sonar Vision, in the detective mode, if you will. But were any of us clamoring for this version of the Joker? And, you know, this also is along the same lines. It's less ridiculous, but still of the Jokerized Joker. They're getting a lot of mileage out of this Heath Ledger, and I really hope this is it. I mean, I love Heath Ledger, I love the Joker. This honestly looks more like the ghost of Splinter or something like that. And this is an actor that's no longer with us. I don't know if somebody's going to get offended about that, but he looks more like a ghost to me. And, you know, there's a whole genre of people that collect translucent plastic figures. I'm not one of them, but, you know, I'm basically a completist with McFarlane, and I did want the other figures in this bundle, so here we are. So the paint here, it's like a mist that goes over them. And I think if this was Sonar Vision, they actually should have kept the pupils white. I feel like that's how it looked in the movie. And there'd probably be more like splotchy, like heat map kind of things going on. But instead, this is like a ghost of the Joker. Not a whole lot of meat on the bone here. And, you know, I wasn't even going to go over much of the articulation. It's all the same figure. But one thing to note, you do see this weird thing in the back here, kind of to do with the engineering of the figure. I'll also mention the joints kind of don't match up with the rest of the figure. Probably can't get transparent plastic to be strong enough for joints. And speaking of which, you know, I feel like when I go to move the figure, it doesn't feel very good. It's very clicky, and I'll be interested to see how this stuff ages over time. And even this foot, like, I can't seem to get straight, so very weird figure. And here we go. Here's all the Heath Ledger Joker figures that McFarlane has given us. And, you know, this first one was announced. Crazy moment in time. Dark Knight Trilogy Wave. Bank Robber Joker. Another surprise that knocked my socks off. These two, not so much. I think McFarlane, it's time to leave the man alone. Let him rest in peace. Unless you do want to paint one up with the green jacket from the original Mattel toys, like I mentioned in this review. But otherwise, may he rest in peace. Leave him alone, please. And here's our Sonar Joker with the other figures from the Dark Knight, Batman and Two-Face. And up next, we got Bane. And what you see is what you get. You literally do not even get a trading card or a figure stand with this guy. Now, on the listings and the images, I think they show a trading card, so it's a mistake. I don't think it's intentionally left out, but it made it this far. So this is all you get. And what that is the Bane Build-A-Figure with actually less hands, because the Joker figure comes with like all sorts of hands for Bane. You only get fists here, and then you get this cloth goods coat. So really, this is more of a coat review than a figure review, because we've already looked at this exact figure. And I will say, you know, at this price point and at this scale, this thing's pretty good. I wasn't ready to like it, and I think there's two parts to this jacket, right? There's the white fur and then the brown leather. I think the white fur I'm nervous about. Looks cheap, and I think over time I'm afraid it will start to kind of flake away and I'll have little white pieces all over my display. But when we get to the leather, that looks pretty good. Like, it's got a leathery texture about it, and the seam lines here and all the stitches, look at that. That's brilliant stuff here from McFarlane. Mezco level, I would say. You even have like a black lining on the inside here, but also with this kind of pleather material, this is also known to dry and crack, and again, it'll be interesting to see over time how this jacket holds up. As for the rest of them, like, I don't even want to take the jacket off. The exact same figure that we've got for the Dark Knight Trilogy Build-A-Bane, and we're also going to be getting a Jokerized Bane. So we're going to have 3 figures using this sculpt, and, you know, it's like you made the unique sculpt, you can only use it for this character, so they found a way to make it 3 times. But you're going to have to decide, is it worth it for you as a collector, and especially when it's in this bundle. Bundle might be sold out, by the way. I'm talking like it's still in stock. I know it's been going on and off. Just to bring in regular Bane here. Maybe there is a slight difference of the plastic, but that might just be like down to the factory. It might not even be intentional. Articulation, I'm only only going to focus on the part with the jacket, like basically how do the arms react when they have a jacket in the way. There you go. I mean, a pretty ratcheted shoulder, but it's going up that far. Let's get it back down. The bicep swivels there, but you're not going to be needing it too much. See how the elbow crunches up. That's pretty good. See how kind of the jacket moves around when you start to get into certain poses, and I don't hate it. Like, I thought it looked a lot worse in the packaging. Like, the promo images don't really do it justice, because I think this is pretty decent, but again, you're gonna have to decide, is it worth it just for the jacket, and is it a true upgrade if he doesn't come with all the hands that the previous figure did? You know, maybe if you already have the Build-A-Figure, you have extra hands, but that shouldn't be a requirement. This is a re-release of a Build-A-Figure so that you don't need to buy the wave. Here's our two Banes together, and they're going to have a son soon. It's going to be the Jokerized version. But for now, basically the same exact figure, and I bought it twice. And then finally, here he is with Batman and with Scarecrow. So if you're building out the Dark Knight Rises, here you go. And here's what we're left with, the bank robber Joker. As soon as I saw that this was a figure being made, instantly went to the top of my list. Most anticipated, and thankfully, unlike the other two figures in this wave, this one does not disappoint. For accessories, he does have the trading card and the base, two sets of hands. One set is trigger fingers, and then there's another wider trigger finger and an opposite fist, and then you do get a Heath Ledger head sculpt, which I guess is cool, but not really necessary. You could try to recreate him taking the mask off, but there isn't actually a separate mask. And I will say, with this bank robber figure, we're definitely missing an accessory here, and that's the duffel bag. And if you look for like third-party accessories, not an easy thing to come by. I'll also say, if they want to reuse this body, make some new heads for the Joker henchmen and give us like a Bat Family or a Robin with the Crows 4-pack of all the different Joker henchmen. I think that would be brilliant. And you got to start at that mask, that head sculpt, and I think they did a perfect job of recreating that mask from the movie. And I think there's a lot of things about The Dark Knight. It's a very famous movie. This is one of the iconic things from it, and they did a great job. I don't know how well it's going to come across on camera, but the eyes are actually sunken back. It's there's some depth there, that there's a gap between the eyes and the holes in the mask, but you do see him ever so slightly out of there. Really cool effect. Might be doing the McFarlane side eye, but here it totally works. And then on the back, you know, like it was in the movie, the hair is a bit more brown than it is green. The hair almost changes color when he removes the mask, but you know, you don't want to give away the surprise. Noticing a weird like sculpting melty slop issue here. But as for the rest of it, the suit jacket is all new sculpt, and that includes the front shirt over here. And I'd say it's a more clever reuse than most, where we're getting the same arms and the same legs and shoes from the original Joker. Now, I don't know if these were pleated pants in the movie, but stuff like that is minor. I think the new parts here are brilliant. They're done. They're executed about as good as it gets for this line in terms of the sculpting and also the paintwork. Nothing's really missing here. Articulation, it's going to be a bit similar to that Joker, who does have a great tilt, and even the tilt in the mask. You can recreate certain shots in the movie. Looking up, not so much. Down is not that good either, but the tilt, that's what it's about with Heath Ledger. Same goes for the torso. There's basically a hollow section here with the rubber overlay. All the movements coming from the waist. Here's Bank Robber Joker with Batman and with Two-Face. And that is going to do it for this very unique, very strange bundle from McFarlane. So, you know, you have the original wave, the Build-A-Bane, and this I would consider surplus to requirement. It's accessory, it's extra. I think if you're going all in on the Dark Knight, it is cool to have these as variants and to get that Jokerized Bane wave. But if you're collecting more stuff, like, do you need these? Can you just have the main wave representing the Dark Knight? I think it's a shame these aren't available separately, because I think Bank Robber Joker is a very appealing figure, and even if you have just the main 5 characters, I feel like I would still want Bank Robber Joker. If you, let's say, only wanted Batman and Joker, and you skip Two-Face and Scarecrow, this would be your way to get Bane. But instead, they've forced you to get them as a 3-pack, as a bundle. And while they're all based on the Dark Knight trilogy, they don't actually go together all that much. So like a lot of things we've looked at, it's all reuse and reinterpretation of things we already have, and you're gonna have to decide, is that worth it for you? Don't follow my example. I'm a sucker. You really got to sit down and think about these things. Only problem is FOMO, because this bundle did sell out. I think it came back actually, but my only advice is not to be so caught up in things selling out. It doesn't mean that you needed to have it, especially if you only felt that way after the sellout. That's definitely too much talking for a repaint video, so I'll leave it at that. I'll leave you off with some pictures. You can check out my whole library on Instagram, Scoopman_5000, also on Twitter. You You can check out my second channel for movie reviews, and I'll see you in the next action figure review.